afuera en el 43.
While dialing through the radio waves, you stumble upon a frequency.
A liminal station dedicated to exploring the strange, the unexplained,
and the macabre.
You are about to embark on a journey into the fantastical spectrum of human imagination.
Broadcasting to you live from a dimension of mystery.
It's the Nightmare Frequency. Welcome to the Nightmare Frequency, the home for the liminal and the mystique. I am your host, Lucky, and with me, as always,
Mac W. Money.
You're a little quiet over there, Mac. What's going on?
Well, Lucky, crime has been committed.
What?
Dun, dun, dun!
Oh, it's a bit. Okay.
Artificial intelligence is taking over the arts, Lucky, and only you can solve the mystery of who is the real artist and who is a devious AI trying to deceive you.
Why? Where is this AI coming from? Why are they trying to deceive me? Is this a game or am I in trouble?
Think of it like the platonic devil.
I don't know if there's such a thing as a platonic devil. They have a goal, and it's your immortal soul or your whole.
You can't stop technology, Lucky. It is going to keep barreling forward, placing the tracks before the train. And it's your job to either, what are you doing? Are you the train? Are you the tracks? Are you tied to the tracks like all of society is? These are the hard questions we ask here in the frequency.
In this day and age, I feel like I can be a detective and sleuth out what these darn robots are trying to trick us with. I will say, for the record, though, I am Team Robot and just want to make sure that's out there in the net space. But for this game, yes.
But if you haven't heard about this, robots are taking over humanity one brain at a time, and we will all within 2 weeks be slaves to technology.
Fingers crossed.
Now, I plumbed the depths of the internet and found the most advanced artificial intelligence systems, and I asked them to conjure up an episode of the classic television series, The Twilight Zone. I know you're a big fan.
Love Twilight Zone. Know every episode. Meat cookbook. They're humans.
In front of you are 3 brief descriptions of episodes from The Twilight Zone. Only one of them is real. Another was written by artificial intelligence, and another was composed by yours truly, Mac W. Money, author and poet and human being.
Can I get a verification on that? Do you have like a doctor's note or something to confirm human status?
Yeah, I've got a CAPTCHA here. Let me fill it out real quick.
You just solve a CAPTCHA for me real quick?
I hate the CAPTCHAs where it's like, click on all of the ones that have cars in them, and it's like, that has like a sliver of what could be a car.
I saw one the other day where you drag a puzzle piece across the screen to fit into its slot. And I'm like, come on, robots definitely got that one. There's no way that's real.
They're writing Twilight Zone episodes and you think they can't drag a fucking puzzle piece? So your mission, if you choose to accept it, which would be weird if you didn't, it would kind of put an end to the show, is to discern which is which.
Can I be the begrudging hero that falls into this life?
Whatever helps you get to the conclusion.
All right, it's fine. I don't want to do it, but I'll go ahead and take the job.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the name of the episode, and I'll read a brief synopsis. And you can make a guess if you want after each one, but at the end, you'll be asked to give final answers on which one is written by me, which one's real, and which one was written by artificial intelligence. And by the way, for the real one, I tried to find a very obscure episode. So none of these are going to be or allegedly be from the Rod Serling series.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was going to say there's probably going to be some that I won't remember. So I think that
I tried to pick and create real clunkers.
Good. I'm so excited for myself and the audience that these are all going to be stinkers.
All right. First up, we have. All right. Sorry. Did you accept the mission?
Oh, yeah. Begrudgingly, like a hero being pulled into his destiny.
All right. Clear the board. Your first episode is titled The Perfect Match, and it is from the latest Twilight Zone series produced by Jordan Peele.
Okay.
A lonely man named Jason signs up for a dating agency that promises to find him his perfect match. He fills out a questionnaire and provides DNA samples before being matched with Samantha, who seems too good to be true. As their relationship progresses, Jason begins to notice strange things about her, such as she never seems to eat or sleep and has an aversion to sunlight. Despite these oddities, Jason remains deeply in love with her and decides to propose. On their wedding day, Jason receives a mysterious package with evidence that he is not the first person to be matched with Samantha. In fact, the dating agency has been used for years to match humans with aliens. Samantha has been studying humans as part of an invasion. Jason and other men's DNA samples were used to create clones whose goal is to infiltrate humanity. Jason is taken on board the mothership for study, where via video screen he watches in horror as his clone marries Samantha. The aliens have successfully infiltrated human society with the help of their perfect matches.
So spooky. God, I feel like I'm seeing through the veil here.
Would you like to hazard, not an official guess, but are you leaning one way or another?
Well, right now my gut is telling me it's at least not a real one, because I believe in Jordan Peele's discerning eye more so than that, because there was a lot of twists and turns in there that felt a little bit too greedy. So I think maybe that might have been AI, that might have been you, but I'm feeling pretty confident that it is not a real episode.
Well, time will tell. Your second episode is titled Profile in Silver, and this is from the 1980s series. Dr. Fitzgerald travels back in time from the year 2172. His mission? To record the Kennedy assassination. Fitzgerald is a direct descendant of John F. Kennedy and is nervous about watching his ancestor get murdered, understandably.
That makes sense.
Against the advice of his handlers, he takes a 50-cent piece back with him, which, if you'll recall, has John F. Kennedy's face on it. On the day of the assassination, Fitzgerald shouts for the president to take cover. Kennedy ducks and dodges the bullet. Fitzgerald's computer warns him that his alteration of history has caused a rip in the fabric of time, and the new timeline leads to World War III. Fitzgerald goes to the White House and tells Kennedy everything. JFK volunteers to go back in time and be assassinated in order to fix the timeline. Fitzgerald removes his school ring, which is actually his time travel device, and places it on Kennedy's hand. Kennedy is transported to 2172, and Fitzgerald takes Kennedy's place in the Dallas motorcade and dies instead.
Jesus.
At Harvard University in 2172, JFK delivers a speech to a classroom full of students honoring Fitzgerald's sacrifice.
There's a lot in that one that's going on. That's a lot. It's hard to discern the plot even now in what you would consider a short synopsis. So I imagine this being a pretty convoluted episode.
Yes, I can probably condense it for you if you need a slight recap.
No, I think I got it. It's just like the times where, like, the ring is the time machine. Like, a lot of things kind of felt like, oh, you're gonna need this real quick just to make sure all this flows together. Like, but I guess that is Twilight Zone for you, right? It moves along at a pretty quick pace.
Or the devious machinations of a human, or
I think it's your brain for sure. I think this one's you, but
okay. Well, you don't have to lock any answers in yet.
You're just like a known Kennedy buff. Like, it's just such a tell. You're always talking.
I have a huge collection of 50-cent pieces.
You're
and
always
50
showing
cent
me your 50-cent
albums.
pieces.
And finally, we have Field of Screams. This is from the 1990s Twilight Zone show hosted by Forrest Whitaker. True crime novelist Mark rents a farmhouse previously owned by a murderer who buried his bodies beneath a baseball diamond. The killer was apprehended and executed by the state after a years-long series of appeals, which attempted to prove him unfit to stand trial by reason of insanity. Mark moves into the house to write a book about the murders. On a stormy night, he is visited by a woman named Charlotte, who suggests he plant a field of crops over the burial ground to appease the spirits of the dead. Mark insists that he is a writer and not a farmer. Mark begins a relationship with Charlotte and witnesses multiple spirits haunting the farm, including a woman dressed as a maid, a police officer, and a boy in a baseball uniform. Relenting to Charlotte's demands, Mark tears out the remains of the baseball field and plants several acres of corn. On the night of a lunar eclipse, Charlotte reveals herself to be the sister of the killer, and that Mark has unwittingly freed his spirit and will possess his body. The ghosts were merely trying to warn him against his deed. The new Mark and Charlotte walk into the field of corn, hand in hand, reunited at last.
See, that one, again, much like my first guess, that one can't be AI because it had a succinct and understandable story surrounding it. So it's either you or it's real. It's my gut reaction on that one. And
Okay.
if not, that's a pretty good episode. I would watch that. That sounds great. That's classic Twilight Zone.
The time has come for you to solve the murder of human creativity by artificial intelligence.
That's like way more stressful than I think I've realized when I was signing up. Like this now feels like there's a lot of pressure on it.
You have the fiance who was out of this world in The Perfect Match. You've got a time traveling coin in Profile in Silver. And finally, a devious set of ghosts who'd rather be playing baseball in Field of Screams.
All right. Well, I've thought a lot about this. 3 incredible stories, by the way. I just want to say that Mac, Twilight Zone, Robot Overlords, well done. Good stuff
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
I think that the perfect match is AI. I think that Profile in Silver is you, Mac W. Monty, author extraordinaire, and Field of Screams is a real Twilight Zone episode.
You are both correct and incorrect.
Oh, okay. So partial.
You accurately sniffed out the artificial intelligence written story. The perfect match with Jason and Samantha as aliens is, in fact, a creation of ChatGPT. However, you failed to determine which of the episodes was written by yours truly. Field of Screams is a fabrication of my mind and is not a real episode of The Twilight Zone.
Is that not a compliment, though? I mistook a true episode of TV to be not produced. If anything, I take it as a compliment.
And Profile in Silver with time-traveling John F. Kennedy is, in fact, a real episode and is buck wild, I can tell you that.
Too convoluted. So there's so many twists and turns in that.
I find it quite interesting that you were able to suss out the difference between a computer and a human writing it, because both the Twilight Zone episode and the Field of Screams, they were both written by human beings. Myself and whoever had the crazy idea to send JFK into the future. And that is AIPD. Submitted for your approval. 2 podcasters sitting and attempting to do a Turing test. But is the most true Turing test not the human heart? Hey, Rod, get out of here. How many times have I got to tell you? This is our show.
You weren't invited and you're not on the payroll, so you got to go. Now, last time we asked you, the listeners, to phone into our voicemail hotline and leave a message regarding your experience as monsters, ghouls, or with monster parties in general. And I was surprised at how many prank calls we got, but a few legitimate messages were tucked in there. We edited these down for a little clarity. But once again, these are monster confessionals from real listeners. Have a listen.
Hello, you've reached the nightmare number. If you're trying to reach Mac or Lucky, press 666 on your touch-tone phone.
Hi, you've reached the monster hotline for the nightmare frequency.
Hosted by us.
Sorry we missed your
call.
Leave a message
at the booth.
Hey there, it's me. Look, I gotta get something off my furry chest. I've been doing some thinking, and, well, I wish I was a vampire. Yeah, you heard me right, a blood-sunken, immortal creature of the night. I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole werewolf thing has its perks. The strength, the speed, the heightened senses, it's all pretty cool. But you know what's not cool? Losing control every full moon, terrorizing innocent folks, and waking up in the woods not knowing what happened. Vampires, on the other hand, they're always in control. No uncontrollable transformations, no howling at the moon, just eternal life and eternal style. I'm tired of the fur, the claws, and the constant struggle. I want the smooth skin, the hypnotic gaze, and that nice sweet immortality. I envy their elegance, their grace. I envy how they blend in with society while I'm out here, well, turning into a monster once a month. I've tried to embrace my inner wolf, but I can't help but feel that I'm missing out on something greater. I guess I'm just tired of being the beast. I want to embrace the night without losing myself completely. So, if there are any vampires out there listening, hit me up. Maybe we can work out a transformational exchange program. I don't know, just something to ease this eternal struggle.
Oh, Wolfman, thank you for calling in. Unfortunately, this is not a hookup message board.
Yeah, we can't really connect you to somebody else as much as we'd want to, but it sounds like you're going through something, and we do appreciate you, I guess, listening, first of all. And I wish you the best.
Yeah, I don't know that it's possible to cross-pollinate, unfortunately.
I would assume you would die instantly, kind of like a toxic v toxic kind of situation. But, you know, I'm not here, I guess, to stomp on this wolf person's dreams.
I think maybe, caller, if I may, He's not on the line. But caller, if you're out there listening, maybe you got to learn to love yourself before you can love somebody else. And it sounds like you really love vampires, so maybe like pursue that instead.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe you should just like be in a relationship with a vampire and see where that takes you. Maybe not change your entire identity to be one.
Oh no, hold on, caller. I've got some good advice for you. Vampires ain't real. All right. Next up, we got a call from a particularly ghoulish celebrity.
Not a very fair thing to just be able to instantly for any of these. Like, it ain't real. Next.
Oh, wait. Vampires. I perhaps spoke too soon because I believe our next voicemail is from Child of the Night.
Well, we're taking some pretty strong stances for about to let some of these folks onto our podcast, but all right then.
Oh, that was supposed to be a transition into it.
I know. I'm just saying we're taking strong stances.
Child of the Night. Yes. This is the Count. Count Dracula. I am calling regarding your so-called expose on the monster mashes. I cannot tell you how many times I've had to explain. We monsters do not mash or babash, especially not in the same castle, okay? Now I would mash with my fellow Dracula. You know, Count Orlok, and Dracula, and Dracgulia, and Dracvulvula. But we do not do like a monster mixer with everyone, gosh. It would have to be a full moon for the wolf people and a celestial alignment for the mummies. Who could put that on their calendar? And what does graveyard smash even mean? I know Frankenstein's monster, and he is not a dancer. He has many skills, and he is very loving, but he does not mash. I'm in this song, too. Not that I have seen a penny in royalties. I pop out of my coffin and I say, oh, blah, something, Transylvania twist. Now there's a dance. The Transylvania. You know, I wish Bobby Pickett were alive so I could kill him. Ah, okay, sun is rising, so I must depart. Blech, don't drink wine, children of the night. You know the rest. Coming in hot, the Count. Thank you for your call. First of all, always nice to hear from a fan.
Yeah, thanks for the call. We are pretty big Bobby Pickett stans at this point, so that actually I don't cotton to.
A little aggressive.
Yeah.
Plus, Bobby Pickett, for all we know, is still out there doing his freaky dance in the afterlife.
He could be leading the Monster Mash for a party you're having right now. I mean, for all we know.
This is an audio medium. You could be listening to Bobby Pickett right now, and you would never know.
He's in the sound waves. I have injected the Pickett spirit into this podcast.
Like, you adjust the frequency a little bit, and suddenly you're Ouijaing with Boris.
Yeah, Ouija DJing.
That was our first, so a little peek behind the curtain. That was our first, it was called Ouijaing with Boris. That was our first podcast idea. And then that sort of became the Nightmare Frequency.
It actually was too scary because we got him so quickly and he was so responsive and clearly a ghost from the other side that we thought it was a little too serious. So, we tucked that away into our back closet under lock and key and arcane symbol.
A little later on tonight, we're going to have some more of those phone calls. But first, if there is one thing that we try to do here at the Nightmare Frequency, is to help people, whether that is warning you against haunted poems, exploring a haunted village in Switzerland, or in the case of tonight's next segment, reaching out directly to people in moments of paranormal and supernatural crisis. Lucky, will you introduce this next segment?
This brand new segment, fresh to the Nightmare Frequency and our slew of entertaining products, Tales from the Quoray. We have gone to the site, the source of questions online for anything supernatural and, frankly, where people need desperate help, and we have decided to insert our expertise.
It's where nothing but serious questions and answers exist. The internet, specifically websites like Quora, US message boards, irishparanormal.com.
That one seems specific.
Haunted Amazon.
Like the rainforest or the warehouse?
Twitter.
Oh, well, self-explanatory.
Well, Twitter is, in fact, dead and reanimated as X, so.
Was it reanimated? I mean, X really marks the spot for this bit.
We have collected a series of real questions posed by real people. Perhaps artificial intelligence, but Lucky, you'll be able to sniff that out, no problem.
Yeah, I have a good snifter for that now. This first one, Mac, I think we can help out with pretty quickly. This was asked by Lysandra Comina on Quora. My dad received a phone call from my recently deceased grandfather. Are there any logical explanations? The phone was inside my grandmother's purse.
So that little detail at the end kind of giving some useful context.
Right. Because, the proximity to the grandmother may have helped the grandfather's spirit activate the phone and make said phone call.
So the grandfather has passed away and is calling. What my real question here is, what is dad doing in grandma's purse?
I think the grandfather's phone was in grandma's purse and called father, but it was the grandfather calling father from his phone in grandma's purse.
Is there a logical explanation?
Is it logical?
Did you bury grandpa with his phone? Because you might want to pick up that call because grandpa might not be quite so dead. You have another urgent set of problems. My grandfather's ghost left a voicemail saying, please help. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm buried alive. What does it mean?
Weird that grandpa passed away and his life alert has gone off every second for the last 2 days.
But if you're certain grandpa's not buried alive, could he be phoning from the afterlife?
Or from the beyond?
I was going to say it tracks because old people don't text.
Oh, nice. True.
And then nobody writes letters anymore. So if a ghost was going to contact you and it was like a boomer, it probably would be a phone call. But you would think to a landline. They usually try the landline first.
I would also imagine how difficult it would be for a ghost to even write a letter. Like, how are they going to know postage and how it goes? So it has to be phone. My advice would be to go to the cemetery where your grandfather has been peacefully laid to rest and look around for any like cell towers. Is there any type of local transmitting station or some sonic tubes that are potentially, interfering
like a
with
phone? There's like a phone line that runs right along the main drag.
Right, because think about this, right? You're underground, your spirit, you're in the body, and as everybody knows, the spirit hangs out in the body for 4 days post-death just to kind of kick it, and then they decide
make those last phone calls.
Right, less phone calls is final business, and then you go either up to heaven or down to where, and what I'm thinking is spirit probably tried to go up to heaven, got tangled up in the phone lines, and now is trapped in the ethereal phone space, unable to ascend or descend.
Right, well, let's assume that that's the case, that it is a ghost, right? Yeah. That is calling them. The logical explanation is, so you can't really apply the logic, I think, to this.
We're past that.
So we've gone far beyond. We left the logic behind when I wrote a Twilight Zone episode for artificial intelligence. What is the ghost trying to communicate? Do you take the call? Would you answer that call?
I think I would answer the call if I saw both my grandfathers have passed. If I got a phone call and it was like their number, I'd be like, well, that's crazy. I would probably answer it.
How brutal would it be if it was like, oh, sorry, I meant to call your brother. Is Tom there? Can you pass the phone to Tom?
Oh man, that would be so sad.
I said everything I needed to say to you.
We had that deathbed moment actually, and that kind of felt like a nice bow on top. So if you could, pass the phone along. And never say goodbye to your cat. Do you want to get him on the line?
Were there any useful responses from other users?
I liked this one, and I'm going to just read it the way it was typed. So if that gives you kind of any indication of where we're at here. Yes, I have one of my 39-year-old sister who passed away in 2018. 5 days after she passed away, one restricted number started to ring in my phone, and when I answer, I listen my sister's voice in static mode to tell me, I am fine where I am now, I love you all. The call lasted only 7 seconds, but it's with a great relief for me in those difficult moments.
So a similar situation. Poor grammar. Glad they didn't get a text from the afterlife.
Similar situation, but an actual voicemail. I think this question just refers to a phone call. This time there was an actual voice left on the other end of the line.
I'm going to make a standing order right now that if you know me and you want to contact me after you've died, phone call, I'm not really a big phone talking on the phone guy. So you can either shoot me an email. I check that multiple times a day. Or if you want to set up a Zoom call, that's cool too. From hell or wherever you end up.
If you're interested in getting a hold of me, I'm interested in mirror messages in a foggy bathroom after a shower, handprint on my car window.
Go into a fugue state and use my left hand to write on a notebook that I keep by my bed for dream journals. Yeah. That sort of thing would be great. I've got one here. This question is also from Quora, asked by anonymous user. My sister used witchcraft on me a long time ago. I think she's still doing it today. What should I do?
I think for me, the toughest part about a question like that is the lack of details, because
Yes.
Did the witchcraft work? Was it negative? Are you still feeling the impacts from it? Is the fact that she's doing it affected you in any way, or should you mind your own business?
It happened a long time ago, and they're worried that she's still doing it today. So there is a history of magic use here. A lot of the replies not super helpful. They're about distinguishing witchcraft from Wiccanism or like dark magic. And so I did a little bit of research, and apparently there is this thought in Wicca that whatever you do to someone comes back at you threefold. So if she's cursing you, you just got to wait because that's going to come back on her threefold.
I love that.
Which led me to this next thought. If you want to get back at her, do so by doing good, right? Benefit, and then good stuff comes back to you threefold, right? That's karma, which led me to this thought. Give your sister $1.
So you get $3.
Because what comes back to you threefold, 3 back. This is my infinite money Wicca glitch.
Oh.
Thank you for tuning in.
Interesting.
So just find yourself a witch. Start giving her money. That's coming back at you.
I was wondering when this podcast was going to skew over into finance. This is great. I'm interested in the desire of this person to even do anything about this. Because, you know, your first suggestion there is just wait. And I can't imagine any better piece of advice for anything in my life. If that's the answer, is just wait, great.
Just hold on.
I literally
Yeah,
don't have to
keep
do
there.
anything about it. Awesome.
Daniel Hromanchuk, Quora user, had a good response to this. Is she doing a controlling thing? If she is doing cursing, then that is not witchcraft. It would be evil sorcery. So kind of drawing some lines there between what is witchcraft and what is evil sorcery.
I guess when I'm thinking about a sorcerer, I'm thinking they're shooting bolts of magic or doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Whereas like a witch is like giving you a poultice to make somebody horny, you know, stuff like that.
To me, it's kind of splitting hairs, though. This person is like, it's like, help, my sister's doing witchcraft on me. You know, and then the answer is like, well, is it witchcraft or is it dark sorcery? It's like, suffice to say, it's something negative. You know, if their sister just made them a poultice for their, like, you know, paper cut, it's like, my sister's doing witchcraft on me. That doesn't really track.
In that scenario, you posited, it really makes you think of somebody like writhing on the floor with boils and rashes, and somebody being like, you know, that's not witchcraft, that's actually sorcery. So they're just tearing at their skin.
So my final answer, infinite money glitch or just, you know, suck it up.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of leaning on that side of things too. You probably should mind your own P's and Q's and let your sister do whatever makes them happy.
Even if it's giving you boils?
Even if it's giving you boils and putting frogs in your shoes or whatever.
If it's not dark sorcery, you don't need to worry about it.
Here's another one for us, Mac, that I think is going to take us in an interesting philosophical direction. This was asked by Murray Harris on Quora. Are all hospitals haunted?
Ooh, that is an interesting question because if it almost feels like they wouldn't be haunted because like imagine it's a bunch of people, like a crowd of people all trying to get through one door.
Okay,
they're gonna like block it up,
right?
So all these people have died there, and they're just all trying to get through and haunt you, but they can't. They're just like there's too many. It's clogged up.
Interesting. I'm on the other side of it. I think yes, because not. When you die and become a ghost, everybody knows, this is just common fact, either you end up at the place where you had the most trauma or were murdered, or where you like died, right? So I assume there's just a bunch of ghosts hanging around hospitals that don't like have any particular negative emotions to the place, but are like, they're in the ghost form. So like, well, this is where I am, shoot.
You would not be alone because if you die on an abandoned stretch of highway and become the phantom hitchhiker, unless somebody picks you up, you're not communicating with anyone.
Right.
But if you die in a hospital, that's like everybody. There's going to be ghosts there from, like, if it's a historical hospital that's been around since like the 1900s, you're going to have 90s ghosts to kick it with, 70s ghosts to kick it with. You're going to have that nurse that was killing her patients, who died in the hospital. She's there too, and no one likes her.
I don't want to talk to her. That's a good point, though. It would be interesting to be able to talk to ghosts from all that different time, right? Like the hospital's been around since the 1700s. Great, you're going to learn a lot about history.
If you've ever had to share a hospital room with someone, you know how awful that is.
Oh, no.
And now imagine that it's thousands of ghosts.
Jam-packed sardining in this hospital.
Those ghosts are nuts to butts in the supply closets. They're coming out of the vents. The vending machines, they're everywhere.
That's horrifying to think about, like, the beauty of realizing that there is something next. Like, you die and like, oh, wow, it isn't over. And then you're just, like, instantly, like, smashed into this space with just so many ghosts.
So many ghosts.
And you're like, well, this is it. Like, this is the rest of my life now. Or afterlife, I guess.
And let me tell you, hospitals are nothing like they are in the TV show Scrubs.
Oh, it's fun.
It is
That's also where
not
Jim
as
and Pam
fun.
found out they were pregnant.
Oh, it's not like that. It's like an episode of Grey's Anatomy from the most recent seasons.
Ugh.
That's unwatchable. That breaks an interesting point, because if you knew you were going to die and be sardined into the hospital, you would probably try and break out and die somewhere like fun.
Mm.
Like you're like looking out the window, your brain is shutting down and your body is unable to do it. And you look across the street and you see there's a Chuck E. Cheese from the hospital. And it's just like clawing your way down the hallway just so you can get inside that Chuck E. Cheese and die there. So you can haunt like an arcade shooter.
It would be kind of fun because I think inevitably when you become a ghost, there is a joy that comes with scaring the living. I think that's just like part of the experience. And there's really probably nothing better than like haunting a Chuck E. Cheese where you can be in the animatronics. Very hot right now.
Oh yeah, do like a Five Nights at Freddy's thing.
Exactly. Because like I was thinking about that, like, oh, what about Dave and Buster's? Because like it's like adult Chuck E. Cheese. But I mean, those drunk adults aren't going to be super scared if the machines start going off. They're like free tickets or whatever. I think the Chuck E. Cheese, you were right. I think that was a much better call.
The pizza is better at
the pizza alone. I mean, damn, that rat knows his way around a pizza.
So, to answer the question, yes, hospitals are all extremely haunted, and you should do your best to die anywhere else. Here is another question from Quora from Alaskan Cavalry, who asks, if there is a werewolf apocalypse, what should I do?
A werewolf apocalypse?
Werewolf apocalypse.
Wouldn't it only be a problem one day a month?
That is interesting, but we don't know the circumstances, so we have to fill in some of the blanks here. We assume that a werewolf curses the moon, so it's always a full moon. So werewolves have now
werewolf curses the moon to make it a full moon.
So that he can always be werewolf, so the werewolves will always have the power.
Wow, honestly, I don't want to air this part because that's a really fucking good idea for a werewolf movie, and we should probably button that up with a little TM.
Well, we might find some answers here because this had a lot of good responses.
Oh, interesting.
So before we weigh in,
yeah. Well, do we need more evidence? I mean, are we not the experts?
No, not in this case. I think when you see hear some of these responses, they put a lot of thought into this.
I trust you.
Nikki Simmer, who has a doctorate of life studies.
Fuck.
From the School of Hard Knocks. Okay,
wow.
Never mind.
Okay, almost. Got me in the first half there.
Werewolf apocalypse, there is only one of two outcomes. Number one, you end up becoming dinner. Or two, the alpha pack leader sees potential in you as a fighter if you're a male. Or as a breeder if you're a female. Yikes.
Ooh.
And decides to give you a cursed bite to turn you into them.
Sorry, were you just saying that these were really good people that had a really...
Think former. More than likely, you're man mutt munchies. Gobi Subramanian, who allegedly has a bachelor honors from Malaysia. Are you just on Quora? Are you just able to put in whatever credentials?
Yeah, I love that.
Nobody cares.
That's very cool.
I have a doctorate in zoology.
I'm a master's of podcasting.
But Gobi answered, invest in share market stock in silver. Kill other humans and get as such silver as possible. I'm guessing that's much. Get as much silver as possible.
Right, yep.
Make myself a silver armor. And a bat with silver spikes wrap around it could be nice. Kill werewolves and build myself a kingdom. Welcome anyone who is willing to follow my rules. Feed the rest to the wolves. In that order.
Wow. The silver suit is interesting, I guess, but I mean... Do werewolves, are they poisoned just by touching? I thought the bullet had to go into the werewolf.
It's a silver bullet.
Right, yeah, but like...
Your silver bat with silver spikes wrapped around it.
That might do something. I mean, it might puncture the skin, right? Isn't the point of the bullet that it actually punctures the skin? I mean, again, we're filling in some blanks here about werewolf mythology, but...
I love that his first thing is to invest in silver before he starts collecting the silver.
Funny.
So it's sort of like covering his financial bases.
Yeah. Buy Bitcoin, sell for silver stock.
He's investing in the silver market and then murdering other humans to get more, to accrue the silver. So I don't really understand how that's working.
Well, that's probably where the apocalypse, right? Pre-apocalypse, you invest in the market, it falls, and then you start killing the other ones because you'll know at that point, if you're invested in the market, you know who the other big players are.
Kill werewolves and build myself a kingdom is a big... That's just one of 5 steps. That's a huge one, though.
I'm curious, like, are we at the point that the werewolves are organized, like, or are they just as wild? We're talking, like, way post-apocalypse, like, there's settlements of humans. Because then you could build a kingdom, right? You put a fence up and you've got a kingdom.
The werewolves are intelligent enough to curse the moon to always be full, remember?
Again,
so.
you made that up, though.
Or was it a devious AI trying to mislead you?
God damn it. Well, I would know, as we've learned.
Matt Moskowitz says, nothing. I already look like one. I'd fit right in. They would leave me alone. I would have to consume more alcohol, though. Usually that's the only time I howl at the moon.
What?
Matt's got some things going on. He's a hairy alcoholic.
Yes, or he sounds like a hairy wannabe alcoholic. Like, he doesn't drink enough now, and he's not quite ready.
But in the apocalypse.
I love that. The idea that he's like, damn, if only I drank more, the werewolves wouldn't get me.
These are all such good answers. I really don't know when to stop. Peter Rabb says, it's not actually an apocalypse. It's a utopia. I'd happily embrace lycanthropy. It's not that bad. It's only dangerous to unturned humans and animals. I get to hunt naked, howl at the moon. It's an apocalypse, so not much humans with silver bullets to worry about. Well, Peter, the other dude, I got to tell you, Pete, the other guy's, he's getting a kingdom of silver bats to come right at your ass.
Yeah, the silver nation is going to come for you, and you better be careful at that point. What is with the, like, desire to hunt nude?
People really like that. I would argue that werewolves are not nude. I mean, the Wolfman wears clothes.
Well, is a wolf nude?
They got fur.
Yeah, right? I would assume, like, a bald wolf would be like a wolf that was, like, shaved or something.
Imagine, Werewolf Apocalypse happens.
Mm-hmm.
Peter gets turned and he rips off all his clothes and goes out. He's like, oh, I'm a part of the utopia werewolves. And he gets out there and all the other werewolves are wearing like bespoke suits and armor. And they just look at him like, oh my God. And you're just hanging brain.
That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. You never want to be caught with your pants down like that.
The werewolf nudist colony is that way, Peter.
Yeah, listen, we know where you freaks like to hang. And then he's still like cloistered in and his utopia turns into a dystopia.
This one is from the U.S. message board's paranormal section, where there is a little bit less moderation than there is on Quora. So you get some very interesting questions. This is less advice and more kind of another brain tickler. Marathon Mike wants to know, why do ghosts wear clothes? In any description I've read or video footage I've seen, the ghost is clothed in some way. Now, why would a spiritual entity be wearing clothing? Are these really the souls of dead people, or is it something else, like some sort of space-time interdimensional playback machine? So why would glow? Yeah, why? What if you died naked?
That's interesting, right? I guess our ghosts, in some depictions, ghosts are traditionally wearing the clothes they got shot in, right? So it's like, oh, here's the hole where my heart got blown out. But if a ghost, by the definition that we are prescribing to, is a spirit with unfinished business, would you not just like be in the outfit that you would think of yourself completing the business in? Or like the thing like if your unfinished business was scuba diving to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, wouldn't you be in like a scuba suit or something?
Scuba gear. Right. So to go back to the hospital question, all those ghosts at the hospital are wearing only their hospital gowns. So that would be horrifying.
Oh God, and they're all sardined in the gowns, you're seeing cracks.
Oh, and folds. Oh, you don't even know what's what.
You're seeing some balls too. Listen, if we can't get around it, there's balls.
There's nothing that would stop a ghost then, per your theory, from being nude.
Yeah, true.
You just have to die naked.
You'd have to die naked, or your unfinished business would necessitate you being nude. But like, could be, right? Like,
my unfinished business was I never got dressed. He died. One day he decided he was going to put his socks on first from out of the shower, which is a buck wild thing to decide, and then died.
Oh, that
slips getting that first sock on, so he's only got like half a tube sock on, and that's
over it in the ecto.
And then he's calling my grandpa on my grandma's phone in her purse. It's a nightmare.
God, you could. It would be that you could. My final wish was to be accepted into a nudist colony.
Oh God, yeah. What if you slipped in the shower, hit your head, you're a ghost, but you have unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to warn your wife about a killer that's going to come after her. And everybody you try to warn is just like, whoa, Mac.
I love this scenario you've put together where I learn of a person plotting to murder my wife, and the first thing I do is jump in the shower.
Well, maybe you're in the shower and you're like you put it together. You're like reading the Head and Shoulders label and you're like, head, shoulders. He's going to cut off her head and put it on his own shoulders. Whoa.
Murder oxytrone. Whoa.
Bam. Dead. And then you got to, go to her workplace as a ghost, right? Or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It could be anything. but you're unwittingly exposing yourself to everyone along the way.
If you could make like a knife float, could you ostensibly murder a pair of your clothing to put on?
What?
Yeah, think about it. Take a knife, ghost-wise, float it around, stab your sweater. Is the sweater now dead? And then thus able to be interactive with a ghost so you can put it on.
I don't think clothes can become ghosts.
Okay.
Oh, but if you die, you do have ghost clothes.
You have ghost clothing.
You would be wearing the shirt.
So there is ghostly clothing, but can you turn that from clothing that exists? Or would you have to like murder a person and take it off their ghost?
A ghost? So if you're killed with your clothes on and you have unfinished business and you come back as a ghost, I don't think you can take off those clothes.
No, I don't think so either.
So I don't know that you could kill someone and take their ghost clothes. Ghosts can't swap clothes. Only one useful answer here is, just like religion, ghosts fit to what humans expect them to be. They wear clothes because we don't want to see ghosts going around naked. Simple as.
That's kind of
Thank God ghosts wear clothes. I don't want to see ugly old nude people.
It feels very projected, right? Like it's because we don't want to see them naked that they have to be clothed. Like I don't love that.
How prudish. I don't think anybody should put that on their own, conservative, pilgrim-esque outlook.
If these ghosts want to be nude, like great, let them be nude. Who cares what I think about it? They're minding their own business.
So to wrap up, ghosts can be nude. I have no problem with that.
Yep.
Werewolves should wear clothes.
Werewolves should wear clothes, 3-piece suits.
Werewolves should probably wear clothes.
Sends the nude werewolves to a special nudist colony, which doesn't sound great when I say it like that.
You want to do one more?
Yeah, I got one more that I think is going to really get the old thought process moving, the noodle cooking. This was asked by Kirk Kerber back on Quora, where logic reigns supreme.
The truth is on the U.S. message board's paranormal server.
I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper on this one because the emotion to me just really screams.
A mustard.
This one really screams out.
Put a little mustard on it.
A little ground up pepper in there too. Why can't I see spirits? I can feel them. I know for a fact they're here. I just can't see them. What's blocking me?
Okay, someone we can help.
Yeah, this person, they know the spirits are here, but they just can't see them.
They can feel them, but they can't see them.
They can feel them. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
They know
that
for
there.
a fact they're here.
Why? The question is, why can't he or she or they? Why can't they see them?
Why can't they see spirits? Because they know they're there. They can feel them. It's a fact. They just can't see them.
The ghosts don't want to be seen naked. Would be my guess.
No. It's like guess. Because if it's our projection of what the ghosts feel like maybe they're having an issue inside themselves that they don't want to see nude ghosts. What's blocking them is their prudish thought processes.
He can feel them, so he'd know if they were naked.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so he's feeling them clothed or whatever, or he's feeling them nude, so still not seeing them though.
Could it be that there are no ghosts and what he's feeling are mannequins in the dark?
You're assuming this person lives in some kind of loft of like a clothing factory. Yeah,
they could be invisible people also could be. What if the invisible man? No, I feel like I'm not engaging with this question on a serious level.
You need to turn it around and help them. Yeah.
How can I help this person?
What's blocking them?
You need what's blocking them? Because it's a fact and they are feeling the ghost.
Fact.
It's a fact. They are there. I mean, do you maybe need to adjust your expectations? Why do you need to see the ghosts?
Interesting.
What information would you gain by seeing the spirits?
Yeah, like is that the first step of something else? Like, are we just opening the door? Like, now that I can see them, I want them to start making me sandwiches. Like, is it going to be incrementally worse?
They want to be unseen. They want to remain a mystery and I would allow the ghosts to have that freedom, because if you know for a fact and you can feel these ghosts and it is a fact that you can feel them, then they are already communicating with you and you need to play by their rules. You can't force a ghost to do anything. Trust me. I tried at the hospital.
I would say if you want to force the issue a little bit and either force them to hide more or what have you, there are plenty of ghost tools out there that you can find and use for this situation. There's that one where it shows like stick figures. You get like a spirit box. You could play with a Ouija board and just have the ghost kind of communicate with you there. And maybe the ghost
I was watching recently the old Stephen King miniseries Rose Red,
Mhm.
where paranormal investigators visit an ancient haunted house in Seattle of all places, which is kind of
Glorious.
weird. And the house is allegedly like right downtown, so it's literally like the Space Needle, and it pans over, and it's like this haunted mansion is somehow
Yeah, that
like
works.
been sitting there. But anyway, they use a device. They use lots of devices in this movie, and one of them is a approximated people counter.
Huh.
And it's never explained how it works, but it's essentially like some kind of camera that's pointed at a room, and the characters are in there, and there's like 8 humans, and it says 8. And then slowly the camera would pan over, and it would be like 9, 10, 11, and would let you know how many people were in the room. So, something like that, where a device that counts the number of people in there, so you know that they're there. I mean, they already know that they're there. It's a fact.
Let's bring AI back into the mix and integrate this into the system. I saw this great video recently where a guy taught the AI to identify face, age, gender very quickly. Don't love some of the features on this thing, but this basically identified a ghost
Living
over
or
the
dead.
door. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we
Okay.
create some type of scan system that we can incorporate with Google Glass. So as you're walking around, you can just kind of clock the ghosts.
Give the ghost something to possess.
Oh, not yourself though, right?
There's
Are you saying
another
like
one.
open yourself as a vessel, or
No, I mean, like you could get a mannequin again, not to keep
That's-
barking up that tree.
damn, I don't know. Okay, that's an interesting question. If you had to choose a vessel for a ghost, and then the ghost was going to live in your house, what would you choose?
Yeah,
'Cause a
That's
mannequin would
essentially
scare
what
the
this person
shit
is
out of me.
asking. Mannequin, might be a little frightening.
Yeah, full size
Maybe
mannequin,
like
no way. Not a Chucky doll.
it can't be anything capable of murdering me.
That's a really, really apt point. So just like a pet rock.
No, that rock, bam, flies across the man murdered by his own pet rock.
You've heard it 1,000 times,
Maybe
folks.
like I was gonna say like an iPod shuffle or something, so it can like communicate through music.
That's
But I could
interesting.
also like turn it off.
Yeah, as long as you can like if you pop the batteries out, it's like a possessed thing. It's going to just turn on randomly. So it really will play music whenever.
Yeah.
What about like an ant farm? And it just like makes
Jesus, we're asking for something innocuous, Lucky, not like thousands of ants that are gonna crawl all over into my body.
demon possessed ants.
Yeah. God. No, wait, hold on. We need to go back and delete that because that's another good idea for a movie.
It's another
Demon
great
Ants.
idea. I would love to watch that.
Then we'd build up to Demon Ant versus Werewolf Apocalypse.
Whoa. And all the werewolves are in perfect suits, just ready to fight the ants.
So to recap, if you want to see those ghosts that you know are real there for a fact and you can feel them, find something to have the ghost inhabit.
Pick a
but
vessel.
not an evil mannequin.
Please don't make it a sex doll.
Oh God, why'd you even say that? Now that no one was thinking that.
Everyone
Lucky.
was
No,
thinking
that
it,
wasn't
and I
on
wanted to
anyone's-
address it so that when people were like, "Why did they say sex doll?" we like get ahead of it.
I
You know?
wasn't thinking about it.
Everyone was thinking about it the whole time, Mac. This whole episode, all I've been thinking about is sex dolls. Where have you been? Where have you been?
Right now, I'm about to get up and leave. Oh God. Well, I hope that helped. These questions were all from very concerned people on Quora and the dark, mysterious corners of the internet.
Mostly Quora.
I've got one more voicemail from our call-in segment last week. We try to be fair and balanced here at the Nightmare Frequency, so here is an alternate perspective from our previous message with the Count.
Hello, this is the Wolfman, speaking to you under the condition of total anonymity. In addition to my lycanthropy, I am a well-known actor of stage and screen, and must protect my identity. I'm calling today to set the record straight on the Monster Mash. Now, Dracula, you've probably already called in, and he likes to say the Monster Mash is hogwash, that there are no monster parties. Well, as far as Dracula is concerned, there are no monster parties. He's usually not, and I mean, we've tried to invite him. But century after century, Friday after Friday, you invite someone, and it's not that he couldn't make it. He'd say, "Oh, I'm definitely going to be there," and sometimes it's catered. And he just won't show up. No call or anything. He's 2,000 bloody years old. He's the Prince of all Carpathia. And he can't show up on time. His idea of a party is a boat full of seamen. I, of course, refer to the Demeter. Well, I best be off. It is, after all, a full moon tonight. As full and as big as a tangerine. Good night.
I'm impressed that he didn't bring up his work with Batman, honestly.
Well, we don't know who that was.
Well,
they were speaking under the condition of anonymity.
So are we not allowed to say it because it was pretty clear?
It was a well-known actor of stage and screen who likes the word tangerine. I can't say anything.
I love how that played off the tongue there. That was fun. Thank you, Mike, caller, for your message. Appreciate that.
I think we helped a lot of people tonight.
I think so, too. This is probably our most helpful episode to date.
And dear listener, if you are out there and you have a supernatural quandary or query, please reach out to us. We would love to feature your story or question on the show. You can reach us by email at nightmarefrequencypodcast@gmail.com or on Instagram and other social media at nightmarefq.
I'd like to take this second to thank Matt Harris for the use of our theme song, Strange Stuff. And thank you for listening. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes, Google Podcast, or wherever you're listening from. It's super important for new shows like us to get that kind of coverage early on, and even more important for you to tell your friends about the show. We don't do any type of advertising, so word of mouth.
We don't pay.
No, won't
advertise anything.
Shan't. So word of mouth is really
couldn't.
Hemorrhaging money.
Thought about it. Didn't.
Had a big meeting about it. Spent too much money on donuts.
the meeting room cost a lot of money.
It was a waste. We now no longer have an office. So word of mouth is really the only way for the show to grow and get us back into that office space. So if you could tell your friends, that would be great.
Yeah, if you know someone who's into the weird or the strange or the macabre, please tune in, because we had a lot of fun here tonight, but we also cover some serious topics. And if you are listening for the first time, I encourage you to go back and listen to episodes about Lolion, the Phantom of Molay, or Tamino's Hell is one of my favorite episodes about a haunted poem. We had a lot of fun with that one. We'll be back next time with more nightmares and more frequencies. This has been the Nightmare Frequency. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.